Hey y'all, Brandy here with Duly Noted. If you want to learn more about die cutting, what it is, how you do it, what things you need, or you just want to know what the heck it is, then stay tuned. So, this is the Spellbinders Platinum. This is the big mama of the die cutting machines that I have. This has a huge base plate right there. I'm showing you that that goes 9 inches. I measured it. So an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock will easily fit through there. There is a Platinum 6. That base plate is 6 inches wide. And that's not the one I have. Right here, I'm showing you the plates. So this platform comes with on the top of it, it's printed with different sandwiches should you need to do something a little different. Here I have my sandwich that I use. I use a Fiskars mat that has been cut down. Just to be forewarned, whenever you use a self-healing mat, if it did not come with your machine, you run the risk of voiding your warranty. So just be aware of that. Some people want to know what the heck is a thin steel die. I'm showing you right here. This is just an example I'm showing you that there's a beveled edge right there, and that is the edge that actually cuts. You put that down onto your material you're cutting, and as you run the thing through your machine, it adds pressure and cuts your material. We're going to make a shaped card today. How we're going to do that is we're going to take that thin steel die and we are going to take a folded piece of cardstock that is the appropriate size for the die we're using, and we are going to line up that very top of it. We're going to leave very top of our die hanging out. For this butterfly, I'm leaving the very top of the wings hanging out. This means that as we run this through, all of the die is going to cut through the paper except for the top where there was no paper. And I'm going to pull this out and I'm show you right here. If you notice, when I open this up, we have a shaped card. But if you'll look, the very top is cut off. So in order to fix that, we're going to cut out another one of those large butterflies, but we're going to cut it out of a single sheet of paper and we're going to cut the whole thing. So we're going to make sure that none of that die is hanging over, much like what we did right here. This is what we're going to use to layer, but the process is the exact same. In fact, I'm going to show you on this machine. This is my Gemini Junior. This is an automatic machine. As you see, there are no cranks on the side. You stick it through the front, it comes out the back and cuts out your image. I use two Gemini clear plastic plates, and then I use another one of those iCrafter self-healing mats. Again, be warned, this will void your warranty, so just be careful. I have never damaged a machine as of yet, knock on wood, but that is a risk you run. As you see, you stick it in the front, it comes out the back, and you will have a perfect shape. This is the larger butterfly. This is the one that we're going to use to layer our butterfly so we have a full butterfly on our card. This is my little guy. This is my Sizzix sidekick. When I'm doing small sentiments or like the body of this butterfly, this is the perfect time to use this guy. It has two plates. I always cut into the same plate. I may flip it to the front or the back of that plate, but I always cut into that same plate. This just helps save my plates, and it also makes it less likely that I will put random impressions on my paper or get random dirty things on my paper. So I always do that. Here I'm showing you that I sometimes cut on the front or the back, but I always cut into that same plate. These are the same thing. There is a crank. You run it through the front. It comes out the back as you crank it through. This little guy has an actual suction cup on it. I don't really use that. The main reason is because it actually causes the surface of my table to bubble because I use like essentially a large sticker on my table, so it makes it bubble, so I just don't use it. But as you see, it cuts beautifully. Now we have our little body of our butterfly, and this is the perfect thing that I use for that machine. Some of you may ask how I store my thin steel dies or my thin metal dies. I use magnetic sheets. I purchased these off of Amazon. I got a huge supply of them, and I put them on this magnetic sheet. It keeps them organized, lets me know what I have. They're not all jumbled, and I'm less likely to lose things. This one is self-adhesive on the back. I don't really use that, but you definitely could. I usually try to keep the packaging with the die set. This just gives me a better image, a better visualization of what I have, and that works better for me. And then I store them in a clear sleeve that is also purchased from Amazon. I wanted to keep the main focus of this video on the die cutting, so I'm going to blitz through and speed up this section of the video. I'm just showing you that I'm using some alcohol markers. These are Altenew markers, but there are tons of alcohol markers on the market. That's what I used for this video, and I'm just coloring on a scrap piece of paper. We can get into alcohol markers in a different video. Right now, I am doubling up the body, the large section of our shaped butterfly card. I'm using liquid glue. That gives me just a little bit of time of wiggle room, and I'm setting something heavy on top. That's normally what I do, is I use my die cutting plates to add pressure so that things adhere a little better. That's just how I kind of run that. I'm going to layer all of these together. And when it gets to the body of this butterfly, you can't add glue along the entire body of this butterfly because part of it will hang out the top and part of it will hang out the bottom. So I just applied a little bit of glue to the very center that I knew would be covered by the body. So if you'll see, that's our card base, and I would add glue to that. The reason being is that you have that edge that's cut off, and if you add glue to the part that you're sticking on top of that, the colored part, you run the risk of putting glue where you don't want it. So I always add the glue to the card base, the shaped card base, and that means that you don't run the risk of getting glue where you don't want it. So I'm going to set some plates on that, let that dry, and then bada bing, bada boom, you have made a shaped card. Well, there you have it. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you feel inspired. If you do, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell button so that you know when I post other videos. I hope you have a fabulous day, and we will see you next time.